I am exploiting this statue of Gangris Riverpaw from DC Direct to tell you the entire story of the Gnoll race in World of Warcraft. Let's get going. Grrr, fresh meat. This is what gnolls say. Grrr, fresh meat. Hello my friend, and welcome back to yet another story of collectibles from World of Warcraft. I hope you have your healthy snacks ready, because today it's time for a new story. I have Gangris Riverpaw with me over here. We're going to have a look at him, but before that, let's look at the entire story of the gnolls in World of Warcraft. I wish I could reproduce the sound that they make. I can't. Gnolls. They are a humanoid type of monsters in the Warcraft universe. They are derived from hyenas, go figure. They are very hostile, warlike, and very unintelligent creatures. Gnolls dwell both in Kalimdor, the Eastern Kingdoms, and more recently, the Dragon Isles. When not under the direct supervision of a leader, they start fighting each other. They do that on idiotic themes such as whose shadow is bigger. So that's where you would get an idea of their level of intelligence over there. The entire society is organized around might. The strongest become leaders, the weakest become food for the rest of the pack. Although highly unintelligent, some gnolls are open for trading. However, the few who are, they require a show of strength and respect, such as combat with the respective gnoll or with a leader from their clan. When a gnoll dies, the tradition dictates that their clan will devour them, him or her. Female gnolls, with that said, they exist, and they are co-leaders of clans in matriarch roles, sometimes even ruling a clan by themselves. Gnolls, they live up to 30 to 35 years old, and they grow in height to 5 to 7 feet tall. That would be around up to 2 meters tall. I just mentioned 30 to 35 years old. If they manage to get to that age, they get in fights and they die anyway, either in battles or they just fight each other. So they would die anyway by the time they get 30 to 35. Age-wise, as a race, the gnolls have been around for more than 10,000 years, according to the lore. The first time we know of a conflict with the gnolls was in 2700 BDP, or before the Dark Portal, year 0, at Tirisfal Glades, when some early known settlers were trying to, settle down. A large conflict, though, took place in year 75 before the Dark Portal, known as the Gnoll Wars. And this is probably the biggest conflict that we get with the gnolls. They were disorganized generally, but for the first time they became unified under Pack Lord Garfang. They started grouping up, they started attacking convoys and villages, and they even launched full-scale attacks on Stormwind in that area there at Elwyn Forest and Westfall. The humans, they had enough, and King Barathan Rin rode a small army of knights into Redridge Mountains. They killed Garfang and ended the Gnoll Wars. The gnolls, without a leader, they started fighting each other, making it very easy for the knights to finish them off and scatter them across the lands. After that, they didn't really pose a threat anymore, because no one really gathered in and, unified them in a large enough pack to pose a threat. But they do still unite in tribes. And I put together a list of the tribes that exists of gnolls in World of Warcraft. We have the Mosshide. They live in the wetlands in Loch Modan. They are led by Sagepaw. We have the Mudsnout. They reside in the Hillsbrad foothills. We have the Pale Mane. gnolls, and they are in Mulgore, where the Tauren live. We have, of course, the Redridge gnolls. They live in the Redridge Mountains, and they are led by Yoler, who we also kill and grab his paw. We have the Red Pine gnolls. They live in the Western Plaguelands. Also, the Rothide, and they're a special species of gnolls because they are undead. They live in the Tirisfal Glades. We also have some called the Savage Hill gnolls. They live in the Storm Peaks and they are led by Gnarlhide. Do you pronounce the G or is it mute? Gnarlhide. This sounds weird, so it's Gnarlhide. Otherwise, we also have the Shadowhide gnolls. They live in the eastern Redridge Mountains and they are led by General Fangor. As a human leveling in the early stages, we also get to kill that guy. We have the Wild Paw in Alterac Valley, we have the Wood Paw in Ferrelas, and we have the Black Paw in Ghostlands. A lot of paws there. There are the Brackenhide as well, who live in the Azure Span and are led by the Decatriarch Death Eye. Of course, I left the most significant tribe of gnolls for the last one, and that would be the Riverpaw gnolls. They are one of the most notorious tribes of gnolls. They allied with the Defias Brotherhood, and they are led by the one and only Hogger, the most difficult mob in World of Warcraft to kill. Or at least that's what we thought when the original World of Warcraft appeared, and that's because it was the first elite that you would meet in Elwyn Forest, and most people would think, I'm just gonna go solo it, but you couldn't really solo it with any class unless you were very over-leveled. But back then we didn't know. We didn't know how to approach it, we didn't mid-max everything, so it was very interesting. You really needed a group, and that's why Hogger became notorious in the history of World of Warcraft in the early beginning. This would be the story of the gnolls, and I hope there are some things there that you did not know before. Fingers crossed. Let's go on and look at the statue now. And maybe I should stop using the word statue because this is an action figure. It doesn't really move, but I use them interchangeably. I hope you can bear with me on that one. So I have a disclaimer to make. I bought this one second-hand, and this is not his own weapon. This weapon comes from an undead warlock because he usually has a machete in this hand, which is, yeah, quite badass. So I'll bring my trusty rice and chicken scale here. Let's look at the weight for this gnoll. Gangris Riverpaw. The reason I'm not saying anything about his story is because he doesn't have any. He doesn't play a special role in World of Warcraft or in Warcraft. It's just an action figure that DC Direct came up with, and that's basically it. That's also why I'm taking the opportunity here to tell you the story of the gnolls, because there's nothing special about exactly this one. But he looks cool. He looks cool. And also weighs in at 560 grams. 560 grams, which is okay for what it is. How about the size of this? The height, he is taller, his weapon is taller than him, which is exactly 20 centimeters. With this makeshift sword that I gave him over here, we are looking at 25 centimeters. If you want to have this displayed somewhere, he needs a clearance of 25 centimeters. I don't think the difference would be too big with his original machete here. Depth-wise, it's not that much. You're gonna need 15 centimeters for this. 15 centimeters. And that's it for the sizes. Material for this is hard rubber. It's not resin, or it's not anything extremely special. This is a rubber statue. This weapon comes out here. Then his other weapon also comes out in the other side. it's a bit weird, and I'm not sure which way this should be pointing, and I'm pretty sure I googled it at some point, but I forgot. It should be this way, because then when he strikes, he strikes. Detail wise on this statue, I think this is really good for a plastic statue. Let me bring my Frostmourne here. And no, I will not give this gnoll a Frostmourne, because this is just wrong and blasphemy. I will just use it to point at him. We start from the bottom here, or let's just have a general outlook. As I was saying, the details are good for a plastic rubbery statue. Feels confident. It's stable on the table. It's okay. The legs are a tiny bit adjustable. You know, they have 1-2 angles on each foot or leg. There's one joint here and there's one joint here, and they're both rotatable. The same story on the other side over here. There's a joint here and there's a joint here. No joints on the hands though, or the arms for that matter, or the head. They are solid. There's nothing rotating there. Starting from the bottom, you know, some classic paws going up with good details of fur on the legs of this gnoll, with some bandages on both legs. And they are articulated like a hyena going around here, and he has some sort of knee protection on his what seems to be mail with plate armor here, and with some leather straps on it, with a protector here and a belt, which I'm not sure this is the symbol of the Gnolls. I don't even think they have an official logo, the Gnolls, but you know, let's roll with it. What I think is cool here is he has a horn, and it could be, it's not for drinking, I'm pretty sure it's for calling his brethren, but this is loose over here, connected with a ring here. That's metal, and that's actually quite cool. Then he has a savage wild piece of leather here, united with a metal ring. It's not metal, it's just the rubber here, which also goes up towards his shoulders with leather straps uniting around his shoulder over here towards another leather piece guarding his back over here, and going under his shoulder to the other side and continuing and connecting here in the front. Right side, there's no other shoulder visible. Left side, it's okay, it's rubber. Left side, he has a skull here. Oh, come on. Left side, he has a skull here with some sort of markings on it, and you know, decorations, and a good protection against, for example, a Frostmourne that would hit him trying to decapitate him, and I cannot. But of course, it's Frostmourne, so I could easily, you know. His hands protected by some gloves with several bones that he can gnaw on when he gets bored, and a skull on this side. And it's the exact same story. Let's place this away. The same story on the other hand. As you can see, his machete over here, it has a system which, you know, plugs in the handle of the sword, considering that this could be classified as a sword, with a skull on the back and a very, you know, wild, violent aspect, quite cool. A hole here at the top, and of course some markings on the sword. I think this is quite cool. It looks nice, and the teeth of the skull here go quite long down. So let's place it back. He has a spiked collar, just like a good dog in Tom and Jerry, the cartoons I would see when I was little. Details on his face, I think this is the most detailed part of the statue, because it's really nice. It looks like a hyena, like a dog, and the eyes are very, very well reproduced here, with some green and a black dot in the middle, the nose and the mouth with the tongue sticking out over there, a really vivid pink color inside there, and the teeth are also painted really well here. So the face is really well done. His hyena colors painted on it's a neck, I think, up here, and with a mane just protruding out, which is probably not natural. He you know, ordered it with some hair jelly or something. And this, I think, is from the front. He has another protection hilt here in the back and his tail protruding out. It's not soft. It's quite a hard rubber here, so yeah. But otherwise, this is the Gnoll Gangris Riverpaw, because he is a part of the Riverpaw Gnolls who reside in the Elwyn Forest. I think this is it for the statue. Okay quality. It's not bad. I would grade it quite highly for, again, a rubber statue. Should you buy this, and will I keep it? I think this is not a very memorable action figure, and because of that, from my perspective, I think this will go quite soon. Or at least I'll post it for sale, see if anyone is interested in it. But otherwise, the details are very good. If you have a large collection, then I think this would be interesting for you. From my opinion, I would rather have the characters who are rich in lore and backstory instead of having this Gnoll, which is cool as aspect-wise, but the story for me means a lot, which this one does not have. But I think it was cool to just have an excuse to tell you the story of the Gnolls and learn it myself. With that said, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something new. And if you're enjoying these videos, don't forget to click the subscribe button and maybe the like button even, because that helps the algorithm and promotes this channel, so it allows me to create more videos like this. The only way I can see that I provide some value with these videos is by seeing interest from you guys. So if you want to see some more of this, the best way to support me is to subscribe and maybe hit the like button if you like it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.